Hello, I'm John Idelson, Professor Emeritus at California State University, Monterey Bay. I also serve on the nominating committee, and today we're talking with candidates running for the board of directors of CUE. The nominating committee hopes these discussions will help you make an informed decision for the important ballot you will cast for the CUE board of directors. So let's start off. Hello, Deb. Let's start with your full name, your title, and tell us a little bit about your first experience with CUE.
Thanks, John. Hi, and hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Debb Oliver, and a little bit about me. I am a professor right now at the National University in the Sanford School of Education with the master's degree, with the master's degree program and the teacher certification program there. I also have founded a business, EdNac 3D, which supports districts and organizations with blended learning and e-learning on the pedagogical, the technical sides of things, helping them integrate social learning into the professional development that they provide. Basically, our goal of that business is to help make their learning powerful. I authored a book from research that I've done, The Learning Transformation. It's a guide to blended learning for administrators. And gosh, I'm just an educator at heart. We had lived in California for a number of years. I taught in the Bay Area in several districts up there, half of my career, and moved away. We moved away to Idaho, and 10 years ago, we came back to California, and I was introduced to CUE. I went to a CUE conference. I was working for a publishing company, delivering and creating the professional development for ed tech, and went to the CUE conference, and I just fell in love with it. It was like, okay, I found my tribe. I found my peeps. Here we are. Because doing what I had been doing, it was like a fish swimming upstream for so many years, with ed tech being where it was. So the next year, I thought, this is really an organization that, like I said, I fell in love with it right away. I began to volunteer. And so I volunteered at the conference. And from volunteering, I began to work with Dana as the lead for working with the vendors and vendor registration and taking care of the vendors, making sure that they're all happy. So I volunteered. My first real association was volunteering there at the conference. After doing that with the vendors, I was asked if I would join the National Conference Planning Committee. I guess it wasn't the national, then maybe it was. So I joined the Conference Planning Committee and have been doing that for several years. And I tell you, there's nothing like attending the conference, which I hope to see you all there. It will be in just a couple weeks. There's nothing like attending the conference and just reconnecting with colleagues, with old friends, making new friends. It's through CUE that I was able to make so many connections with teachers and administrators throughout California, and some in Nevada. It's been a priceless experience for me. To have those kinds of experiences. The people that I've met and that I associate with just inspire me and help me to continue to grow.
So do you have a favorite hashtag from a CUE conference?
Well, yes, my favorite hashtag right now is hashtag CUE Chat. It's on Tuesday nights. John Crippo has gotten that started, and it is a fabulous hashtag. So that is the one I have been faithfully joining. And I would suggest everybody CUE Chat while you're at the conference.
Sounds good. So I wanted to sort of expand on your previous answer. You did tell us a little bit about yourself and the history with CUE, but I'd like to know more about why you want to serve on the CUE board of directors.
My experience in my career, it's been in education. I was a classroom teacher for 18 years, professional development. I've been on the business side of education, working as a manager for a major publishing company, and have just really seen all sides of education from firsthand experience, having lived it, always connecting back to student learning. And with the Q board, there's such an opportunity there to support the growth of educators, to support the growth of our district leaders, working with the legislature to help with decision makings, supporting Mike and those that are going there. Q is an outlet that, or I should say, being on the board would be an outlet to be able to give back, to really provide service, to support something that I really love so much. Having been involved with professional development these past 12 years, I delivered ed tech, professional development, and created it for districts and teachers all over the country and some abroad. I'm very, very passionate about student-centered learning, application of the learning, application-based learning, how the tools of today support and enhance how we do that in the classroom. I recently concluded a research study in a district in the Central Valley of California, and it was on student-oriented learning. And the results of that research showed amazing growth. Taking that kind of information, sharing that as I'm able with teachers that I deal with, administrators that I work with, learning from them, it just really, it's a passion. It's more of a lifestyle than a job, and bringing that to the Q board gives me the opportunity to just continue to give back and continue that volunteering with this organization I love so much.
That's great. Now what I'd like to do is see if we could take sort of a broader look. What are some of the challenges we have in education today, and how do you think Q can help support that?
Wow, there's a few challenges in education today. Over the past years, Q has evolved so much. I think John has done an amazing job of the professional learning side of Q. And as we look at this changing landscape, especially what's coming down the pike, the uncertainty that we have of what's going on, I think there's ways that Q is going to be able to continue to support that. Right now, we've got the Rockstar Camps, we've got BOLD, which is the blended and online lesson design. I think Q can continue to help, and I would love to be a part of that, to help how we can develop these offerings so that they can continue to support the teachers in a social learning network. Excuse me. How can we enhance this groundswell of interest that has really occurred over the past several years with the professional learning that Q provides? I think some of the other, when we think of some of the other things that are coming down the road with personalized learning and the changing classroom environment, the last several years at the conference, 50% or more of the conference attendees are new. That's the first time, they're first time attendees at the conference. And the Q just has such a commitment to collaboration, to community, to supporting the needs of these teachers and the leadership that that is a huge need, that Q continue to support that, and that we find other ways of connecting and staying connected with them. I think there's things that we can do at Q, thread that's running through our conferences and the PD workshops that we're having, and the Rockstar camps, and all. I just think there's the next step. What's that next step that we're going to take to support them? And another one that I think is a really big thing coming down the road, a challenge that that we're seeing, and I'm seeing this in classrooms that I'm in all of the time, is with personalizing the learning for each student. We went through this whole differentiation, the ed tech, it's all ed tech, and we had a focus on how do I use this device? How do I use this tool? On the leadership level, how are we rolling this into our districts? That whole learning process has gone through. Now we're at a place where many, many more classrooms have devices to use. And it's really a focus on the pedagogy behind what are we doing with this, not so much on here's the tool and here's a lot of things to do with it. And I think CUE can support that, again, through the professional learning we're doing, but with a focus on the changing classroom, that changing classroom environment that's occurring. Working with district leadership, I think CUE as an organization can support them to an even greater extent in that professional learning and how the culture is created within a district. I just see CUE having the ability to really support being in there. And it's not just the people that work at CUE, it's everybody involved in CUE. It's this whole community, the collaboration that occurs, the connectivity that happens from a superintendent at a district in the northern part of the state that may be connected with somebody in the southern part of the state or the Central Valley through these the conferences and the leadership support that CUE gives. So there are challenges that are coming down the road. I think CUE needs to continue to be innovative in our thinking and how we approach them, how we support them, and just maintain that lead, that forward-thinking lead of everyone that's involved in CUE, and keeping that going.
Those are big challenges, and professional development is always a challenge, and CUE has done a great deal of support there. And I'm glad to hear you talk about the challenges of the changing classroom. And I think CUE's probably been responsible for making some of those changes happen. So they ought to help address that challenge. Well, what I'd like to do is thank you on behalf of the nominating committee for the leadership you've already shown for CUE, and more importantly, for taking this next step for running for the board of CUE. For those of you watching, please be sure to watch the other candidate interviews and be sure your membership is current. You have to have current membership to be able to vote. The voting will take place between March 18th and April 20th. The voting closes at 5 p.m. Pacific time on the 20th. And looking forward to seeing you at CUE, and thank you again for this interview.
Thanks.